Blog Talk Radio.
I look for it.
Have you ever wondered why it's happening again?
Welcome to Mindshifters Radio with your co-host, the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce, and his wife Jeanie. Michael and Jeanie share with you the wisdom of the ancient Aramaic internal process of forgiveness. They offer tools and support 5 days a week. They will support you in building a solid foundation within yourself to live in pure love. In Aramaic, Rakhma. Michael is the author of So Why Is This Happening to Me Again? For more information on Michael and Jeanie, please visit www.whyagain.com. And now your co-host, the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael and Jeanie Ryce.
To the brightness within you and the truth that is rooted within me.
Hi, and welcome to Mindshifters Radio with the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce. And happy Thanksgiving Day. And we are definitely thankful for everyone that participates in the show, that whether you're just a listener, whether you talk, whether you share, whether you just hold the space for us, and especially for those who are willing to do their work and to help take this work to critical mass. So we wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. And we already have a caller online, and David is online with us. So welcome, Michael. Oh, our call-in number, 646-200-4169. Press 1 if you want to talk. Michael?
Thank you, sweetie. Welcome, everybody. And an awesome season of Thanksgiving to you. It's an amazing thing that we get to live this human life, which sadly and unfortunately many people really don't appreciate what it is that they have. There's a quote that I ran across not too long ago that said, "We are perishing for a want of wonder, not for want of wonders." And it's interesting that we can brainwash a mind with any kind of insanity that goes, and have that mind believe whatever those insanities are. Like, for instance, one of the current insanities is that of believing that war is a valuable thing and it's something good to do, and the horrendous and insane things that happen in the name of war. And so our honoring of Memorial Day and Veterans Day and all of those who have been forced to engage in the insanity of the murder of war and the shame of war. We hold the space for each of you, and we choose to take responsibility. And that responsibility looks like, and our invitation to each of you is each day, is let's change the way the world works. And how do we do that? Well, we change the way we work. It's all an inside job. It's all in the smoke and mirrors. And so our request of you is that you take responsibility today and every day for just even one little issue, one hostility or fear where you have somebody else that you think is to blame, and you remove that hostility or fear. And then today we're going to invite you to take it to the next level, and that is move into gratitude for what's going on in your life. I have a friend who actually applied for a position and was a little bit distraught because that position didn't come through, but his distraught state actually led to him beginning to write a book that he'd been talking about writing for years. And so the gift of that not getting the job that he had applied for and wanted was an awesome one for him to have. And when we start to have gratitude for the things that perhaps don't seem to hold gratitude in our reality structure, all of a sudden things start to shift. And I'd like to read an article from the Wall Street Journal. This actually goes back to 2010 and kind of use this as a kickoff for the idea of our Thanksgiving Day show. And the title of the article is Grateful People Are Happier, Healthier, Long After the Leftovers Are Gobbled Up. And it turns out, the article starts out and says, giving thanks is good for your health. A growing body of research suggests that maintaining an attitude of gratitude, and this gratitude's been called the wonder drug, can improve psychological, emotional, and physical well-being. Adults who frequently feel grateful have more energy, more optimism, more social connections, and more happiness than those who do not, according to studies conducted over the past decade. They're also less likely to be depressed, envious, greedy, or alcoholics. They earn more money, sleep more soundly, exercise more regularly, and have greater resistance to viral infections. This is a pretty powerful drug. Boy, if they could package that one and sell it, wouldn't it go crazy? Well, guess what? It's free if you can shift your mind into tapping into the wonder of having a human life. So the article goes on to say, now researchers are finding that gratitude brings similar benefits in children and adolescents. Kids who feel and act grateful tend to be less materialistic, get better grades, set higher goals, complain of fewer headaches and stomach aches, and feel more satisfied with their friends, families, and their schools than those who don't. A lot of these findings are things we learned in kindergarten or our grandmothers told us, but we now have scientific evidence to prove them, says Jeffrey Froh, an assistant professor of psychology at Hofstra University in Hempstead, New York. He's done much research with children in this regard. The key is not to leave it on the Thanksgiving table, says Robert Emmons, a professor of psychology at University of California, Davis, and a pioneer in gratitude research. And he notes, with the realization that one has benefited comes the awareness of the need to reciprocate. Philosophers as far back as the ancient Greeks and Romans cited gratitude as an indispensable human virtue, but social scientists are just beginning to study how it develops and the effects it can have. This research is part of a positive psychology movement which focuses on developing strengths rather than alleviating disorders. Cultivating gratitude is also a form of cognitive behavior therapy, which holds that changing people's thought patterns can dramatically affect their moods. It is possible, of course, to overdo expressions of gratitude. And he goes into disproportionate gratitude, which isn't really relative to our topic. So in an upcoming paper in the Journal of Happiness Studies, Dr. Froh and his colleagues surveyed 1,035 high school students and found that the most grateful had more friends, higher GPAs, while the most materialistic had lower grades, higher levels of envy, and less satisfaction with life. One of the best cures for materialism is to make somebody grateful for what they have. Much of the research on gratitude has looked at associations, not cause-effect relationships, and it's possible that people who are happy, healthy, and successful simply have more to be grateful for. But a landmark study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology in 2003, Dr. Emmons and the University of Miami psychologist Michael McClough showed that counting blessings can actually make people feel better. The research randomly divided 100 undergraduates into 3 groups. One was asked to list 5 things they were grateful for during the past 10 weeks. The second group listed 5 things that annoyed them each week, and the third simply listed 5 events that occurred. They all completed detailed questionnaires about physical and mental health, both before and after. Those who listed blessings each week had fewer health complaints, exercised more regularly, felt better about their lives in general than the other 2 groups. So the study simply goes on to tell us that gratitude changes physiology. How shocking is that, to know that what you do with your mind has a powerful effect on what happens in your body. And so we're here to support you in that. And, Jeanie, you've got a caller. Hello to David. Is Dr. Tim with us today?
Tim is not with us yet. So
okay. I think he was doing a family gathering, so he probably isn't going to be there. David, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michael. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
And our gratitude for you being on our team, David. And, Jeanie, you've got a caller?
Yes, we do. It's area code 541. You're on the air. I believe that's Oregon.
Hi, Jeanie and Michael. This is Carolyn from Ashland.
Hi. Hey there, young lady.
Well, thanks for calling me young. Happy Thanksgiving to you both, and all of you, and I'm so very grateful that you're having these calls. I got on late yesterday, 35 minutes late, and I heard exactly what I needed to hear. I'm not sure what it was, but it was very helpful, and it prompted me to do a worksheet. And what I came up with my daughter, who's so angry, was that I'm expecting her to fix all the things I never got. And, of course, she's angry because of all that she never got. So I was able to see that. And we had a talk this morning, both of us, mostly her being angry and raising her voice. And I was able, better than ever, to stand, as you're talking about, in love. And also I took responsibility where I needed to, saying that with her and with her brother, who has done some horrific things, that I am not the cause of all this, and I refuse to be the cause of all this. And I love her. Sorry?
Nice catch.
Nice what?
Nice catch.
Catch?
Catch. Nice.
Yeah.
Not great that you were able to catch that idea and to see that each of them has to be responsible for their lives as you take responsibility for yours. Oftentimes the way to not be responsible is to say, well, I'm responsible for that out there. And that's how we avoid being responsible for what's happening inside. So that's a nice shift.
Right. And I think the important thing for me, Michael, is to own, of course, I have done wrong. I know I've done wrong. I know the times, places, all of it. I'm very conscious of it. And I'm also not willing to be blamed for all of it anymore. I won't be. I mean, that's why I, myself, have been so depressed, because I'm feeling like I caused all this pain in her, and I didn't. She walked her own path. She's 40, almost 49 years old next week, and she picked a lot of the things that she's living with. And because of her own rage, anger, whatever, she caused herself unbelievable pain in her body, unbelievable surgeries, which have caused her further and further pain. And, she chose that. I didn't choose it for her.
Right, and one of the things to notice is that, and one of the things I've experienced over the years of working with people is people who come from broken homes or so-called broken homes.
Yes.
Never run into anybody that didn't feel like it was all their fault. And so take a clue from your own reality. When I thought it was my fault, I was in that drama and trauma. And to perhaps begin to assure her that it's not her fault. And as we move out of that guilt, fault, and blame game that we tend to play with ourselves, what happens is we can start to take responsibility for our participation and begin to remove the parts of us which otherwise remain in the dissociated mind. So that's the power of the worksheet, is to touch into that. So that's a gift you can give her, is to just start to assure her that she's innocent. She's innocent in her life. She's innocent in your life. She's innocent in her brother's life. And as she can start to grab a hold of that idea, that may be a rallying point for her mind to start to shift and change.
Well, and I think the biggest problem in all this, what we're talking about, is that I have felt so distraught by her rage, and previously by her brother's rage. He's just cut himself off from everybody. that I felt totally to blame for all of it, and it wasn't all my fault. And I refused to take it, you know?
Right. So my input to you would be, you haven't been distraught about her rage or his. You've been distraught because your mind has a reality called distraught. And as you start to forgive your capacity to be distraught, you know, when I language that I'm upset in whatever way, shape, or form it is about that out there, I've hooked my internal condition to what's going on out there, and that's how I dissociate from that internal condition. When I forgive, I take responsibility for that condition instead of hooking it. I can see that was the trigger. Gee, you know, when she'd go into rage, I would become distraught. That's a whole different conversation in our minds and in our own internal reality structure. Because the minute that I say I'm distraught or angry or sad or afraid because of that, here's what I'm saying to my mind. Mind, build me a picture. Build me a world where that out there causes this state of being distraught in me. The minute I shift my language into, that event brings up feelings of being distraught in me, I'm saying to my mind, show me the root of those feelings I call distraught, and then you're empowered. It's now out of the dissociated state, and you're empowered to start to change that. So just that little shift in language to start to see that these things are triggers, they're not causes, and everything starts to shift and change. So it sounds like you're right on track, and I would suggest that some worksheets, you know, twice now with quite a bit of energy, you've spoken about how you're not to blame. And, you know, Shakespeare told us, my words fly out, my thoughts remain below. So I would suggest that very likely there are some significant worksheets to be done around you blaming yourself. And as you do worksheets where, you know, Carolyn's the object of attention, you know, such and such happened and it was my fault, and what do I feel? Maybe I feel hopeless, helpless. What's my thought? I can't ever change this. What's my goal for myself? Oh, I wanted to create a perfect family for my children. Cancel the goal. I cancel my need to create a perfect family for my children, and I invite that internal power to undo these thoughts and these feelings in me, and you may find yourself moving to a whole other level in the process and being able to open the space for your children to do the same.
Right.
While not
I
needing
think
to take responsibility.
the biggest direction I have to take, Michael, is to really, you know, because I had a horrific childhood, and to forgive myself. I did the best I could.
Yeah,
and to stop, as you
yourself.
said, blaming, shaming, feeling guilty. You know, I was a great mom, as you said a few times ago. I was.
Yeah. So don't forgive yourself, Carolyn. Forgiveness work has nothing to do with forgiving yourself. If you enter into forgiving yourself, you'll take the pain or trauma and you'll say, okay, now what we're doing when I do the cultures, I forgive myself, I'm letting myself off the hook for this pain and trauma. That does nothing to change the pain or trauma. Forgiveness, now that's pardoning, and that's a nice thing to do. Okay, I'm going to let myself off the hook for some of the crazy things I did. I did the best I knew how to do. And now I'm going to go into my forgiveness work, which is I'm going to forgive this fear that came from being an abused child. I'm going to forgive this rage that came from being an abused child. I'm going to forgive these distorted self-images that I had from being an abused child. So removing those frequencies, those energies, is the core of the forgiveness process. And it's a great piece of learning to shift from the language of the culture that we've been taught all our lives, that we're forgiving others or forgiving ourselves. So forgiveness, remember, is that worksheet process is the tool for collapsing and removing those painful experiences that came from some of the insane things that happen in our planet, and then coming forward as an awake, aware, spiritual being, a divine being called love, becomes the key. And anytime you doubt yourself as to whether or not you're a divine being made of the stuff called love, made of God stuff, just go hold a newborn child. Go back and think about the first time you held your children. And, you know, if we survey 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 human beings about the first time they held their child, each one of them will say, what an awesome presence of love. Now, apply that to you, and you realize who you are. Forgiveness is about undoing everything unlike that has been taught to you by the generations, by the insanity of the world.
So what I hear you saying is I get about holding a newborn child, my children, each of them, to let go of the fear and the feelings around the abuse and the craziness that went on in my own family, to give up each part of that.
Exactly. That's what you apply that reality management worksheet to. And by the way, whatever it was when you tapped into the show, because it was kind of this similar conversation that you heard, you know, if you need to hear it again, the shows are all archived. You can go to the website, whyagain.com, and there's an archive, and you can listen to yesterday's show. And, you know, oftentimes when we're in deep process, we can listen to that same thing 10, 20, 30 times, and each time it will take us into a new level of process and a new level of healing. I can remember one of the things I've worked with over the years is A Course in Miracles, and there are 2 paragraphs. Out of the whole course, there were 2 paragraphs that I went through a time period where each time I read them, I would instantly go into an altered state, just a totally, completely different state. It was like I didn't know what hit me, but I would go into this shifted, changed state, and over a period, and I don't even remember how long it was, but it was months, that I would open the book and read these 2 paragraphs. I could read any other paragraph in the book, and it was like, well, this is good stuff. But these 2 paragraphs would put me into that process state. And then one day I opened the book, and the process state was over. It was complete. And I could read those paragraphs, and they were just words on the page again. So if yesterday's, the place where you tapped into the show, put you into that process place, I'd suggest you get on your computer and go to whyagain.com, download it, and listen to it. And each time that it puts you into process, be with it and listen to it another time until it completes that work in you. That's the energetic process of healing.
Thank you very much, Michael and Jeanie,
Delighted.
and have a wonderful holiday.
You too have wondrous holy days throughout the total holiday season, and get ready for the best year yet of your eternal life. That's what we're here to support you in creating, Carolyn. And we hold the space.
Thank you so
Lots
much.
of love.
Thank you
Happy
so much.
Thanksgiving. Bye-bye. Jeanie?
Yes.
Callers happening in the chat room.
There's several people that are just on the switchboard and a few in the chat room, and everybody's just listening. Again, happy Thanksgiving. Our call-in number is 646-200-4169.
And I've got something that I dug up that I'd like to read, and it's going to take probably 10 minutes, so if you're thinking about calling in, you might want to hold your call for a few minutes. This is a really powerful piece of writing about the truth about life and gratitude. It's from a book called The Greatest Miracle in the World by Ogmandino, and it's called The Memorandum from God. And I'd like to just share it with you and see what spaces it opens in each of us. And it goes like this. Take counsel. I hear your cry. It passes through the darkness, filters through the clouds, mingles with starlight, and it finds its way to my heart on the path of a sunbeam. I have anguished over the cry of a hare choked in a noose of a snare, a sparrow tumbled from the nest of his mother, a child thrashing helplessly in a pond, and a child in pain. Know that I hear you also. Be at peace, be calm. I bring thee relief for your sorrow, for I know its cause and its cure. You weep for all your childhood dreams that have vanished with the years. You weep for all your self-esteem that has been corrupted by failure. You weep for all your potential that has been bartered for security. You weep for all your talent that has been wasted through misuse. You look upon yourself with disgrace, and you turn in terror from the image you see in the pool. Who is this mockery of humanity staring back at you with bloodless eyes of shame? Where's the grace of your manner, the beauty of your figure, the quickness of your movement, the clarity of your mind, and the brilliance of your tongue? Who stole your goods? Is the thief's identity known to you as it is to me? Once you placed your head in a pillow of grass in your father's field and looked up at a cathedral of clouds and knew that all the gold in Babylon would be yours in time. Once you read from many books and wrote on many tablets, convinced beyond any doubt that all the wisdom of Solomon would be equaled and surpassed by you. And the seasons would flow into years until, lo, you would reign supreme in your own Garden of Eden. Dost thou remember who implanted those plans and dreams and seeds of hope within you? You cannot. You have no memory of that moment when you first emerged from your mother's womb, and I placed my hand on your soft brow. And the secret I whispered in your small ear when I bestowed my blessings upon you. Remember our secret? You cannot. The passing of the years have destroyed your recollection, for they have filled your mind with fear and doubt and anxiety and remorse. And there is no room for joyful memories where these beasts habitate. Weep no more, I am with you. And this moment is the dividing line of your life. All that has gone before is like unto no more than that time you slept within your mother's womb. What is past is dead. Let the dead bury the dead. This day you return from the living dead. This day, like unto Elijah with the widow's son, I stretch myself upon thee 3 times, and you live again. This day, like unto Elijah with the Shunammite's son, I put my mouth upon your mouth, and my eyes upon your eyes, and my hands upon your hands, and your flesh is warm again. This day, like unto Yeshua at the tomb of Lazarus, I command you to come forth, and you will walk from your cave of doom to begin a new life. This is your birthday. This is your new date of birth, your first life, like unto a play of a theater, was only a rehearsal. This time the curtain is up. This time the world watches and waits to applaud. This time you will be successful. Light your candles, share your cake, pour your drink, you have been reborn. Like a butterfly from its chrysalis you will fly as high as you wish, and neither the wasps nor the dragonflies nor the mantids of mankind shall obstruct your mission or your search for the true riches of life. Feel my hand upon thy head. Attend to my wisdom. Let me share with you again the secret you heard at your birth and forgot. You are my greatest miracle. You are the greatest miracle in the world. Those were the first words you ever heard. Then you cried. You did not believe me then, and nothing has happened in the intervening years to correct your disbelief. For how could you be a miracle when you consider yourself a failure at the most menial of tasks? How can you be a miracle when you have little confidence in dealing with the most trivial of responsibilities? How can you be a miracle when you are shackled by debt and lie awake in torment over whence will come tomorrow's bread? Enough. The milk that is spilt is sour. Yet how many prophets, how many wise men, how many poets, artists, composers, how many scientists, philosophers, and messengers have I sent with word of your divinity, your potential for godliness, the secrets of achievement? How did you treat them? Still, I love you and am with you now through these words to fulfill the prophet who announced that the Creator shall set his hand again a second time to recover the remnant of his people. I have set my hand again, this second time. You are my remnant. It is of no avail to ask, haven't you known, haven't you heard? Hasn't it been told to you from the beginning? Haven't you understood from the foundations of the earth? You have not known. You have not heard. You have not understood. You have been told that you are divinity in disguise, a god playing a fool. You have been told that you, a special piece of work, noble in reason, infinite in faculties, express and admirable in form and moving, like an angel in action, like a god in apprehension. You have been told that you are the salt of the earth. You were given the secret of moving even mountains, of performing the impossible. Yet you believe no one. You burned your map to happiness. You abandoned your claim to peace of mind. You snuffed out the candles that had been placed along your destined path of glory. And then you stumbled, lost and frightened in the darkness of futility and self-pity, until you felt the hell of your own creation. Then you cried and beat your breast and cursed the luck that had befallen you. You refused to accept the consequences of your own petty thoughts and lazy deeds, and you searched for a scapegoat on which to blame your failure. How quickly you found one. You blamed me. You cried that your handicaps, your mediocrity, your lack of opportunity, your failures were the will of God. You were wrong. Let us take inventory. Let us first call the roll of your handicaps. For how can I ask you to build a new life lest you have the tools? Are you blind? Does the sun rise and fall without your witness? No, you can see. And the 100 million receptors I've placed in your eyes enable you to enjoy the magic of a leaf, a snowflake, a pond, an eagle, a child, a cloud, a star, a rose, a rainbow, and the look of love. Count one blessing. Are you deaf? Can a baby laugh or cry without your attention? No, you can hear. And the 24,000 fibers I've built in each of yours vibrate to the wind in the trees, the tides on the rocks, and the majesty of an opera, the robin's plea, the children at play, and the words, I love you. Count another blessing. Are you mute? Do your lips move and bring forth only spittle? No, you can speak, as can no other of my creations. And your words can calm the angry, uplift the despondent, goad the quitter, cheer the unhappy, warm the lonely, praise the worthy, encourage the defeated, teach the ignorant, and I say love you. Count another blessing. Are you paralyzed? Does your helpless form despoil the land? No, you can move. You are not a tree condemned to a small plot while the wind and the world abuses you. You can stretch and run and dance and work, for within you I have designed 500 muscles, 200 bones, and 7 miles of nerve fiber, all synchronized by me to do your bidding. Count another blessing. Are you unloved and unloving? Does loneliness engulf you day and night? No, no more. For now you know love's secret, that to receive love, it must be given with no thought of its return. To love for fulfillment, satisfaction, or pride is no love. Love is a gift on which no return is demanded. Now you know that to love unselfishly is its own reward. And even should love not be returned, it is not lost. For love not reciprocated will flow back to you and soften and purify your heart. Count another blessing. Count twice. Is your heart stricken? Does it leak and strain to maintain your life? No, your heart is strong. Touch your chest and feel its rhythm, pulsating hour after hour, day and night. 36 million beats each year, year after year, asleep or awake, pumping your blood through more than 60,000 miles of veins, arteries, and tubing, pumping more than 600,000 gallons each year. Man has never created such a machine. Count another blessing. Are you diseased of skin? Do people turn in horror when you approach? No, your skin is clear and a marvel of creation. Need only that you tend it with oil and brush and care, water. Each time all steels will tarnish and rust, but not your skin. Eventually, the strongest of metals will wear with use, but not the layer that I've constructed around you. Constantly it renews itself. Old cells are replaced by new, just as the old you is now being replaced by the new. Count another blessing. Are your lungs befouled? Does your breath of life struggle to enter your body? No, your portals to life support you even in the vilest of environments of your own making, and they labor always to filter life-giving oxygen through 600 million pockets of folded flesh while they rid your body of gaseous wastes. Count another blessing. Is your blood poisoned? Is it diluted with water and pus? No. Within your 5 quarts of blood are 22 trillion blood cells, and within each cell are millions of molecules, and within each molecule is an atom oscillating at more than 10 million times each second. Each second, 2 million of your blood cells die to be replaced by 2 million more in a resurrection that has continued since your first birth. As it has always been inside, now it is on your outside. Count another blessing. Are you feeble of mind? Can you no longer think for yourself? No, your brain is the most complex structure in the universe. I know. Within its 3 pounds are 13 billion nerve cells and more than 3 times as many cells as there are people on your earth. To help you file away every perception, every sound, every taste, every smell, every action you have experienced since the day of your birth, I have implanted within your cells more than 1,000 billion protein molecules. Each incident in your life is there waiting only your recall. And to assist your brain in control of your body, I have dispersed throughout your form 4 million pain-sensitive structures, 500,000 touch detectors, and more than 200,000 temperature detectors. No nation's gold is better protected than you. None of your ancient wonders are greater than you are. You are my finest creation. Within you is enough atomic energy to destroy any of the world's great cities and rebuild it. Are you poor? Is there no gold or silver in your purse? No, you are rich. Together we have just counted your wealth. Study the list. Count them again. Tally your assets. Why have you betrayed yourself? Why have you cried that all blessings of humanity were removed from you? Why did you deceive yourself that you were powerless to change your life? Are you without talent, senses, abilities, pleasures, instincts, sensations, and pride? Are you without hope? Why do you cringe in the shadows, a giant defeated, awaiting only sympathetic transport to into the welcome void and the dampness of hell? You have so much. Your blessings overflow your cup, and you have been unmindful of them. A child spoiled in luxury, since I have bestowed them on you with generosity and regularity. Answer me. Answer yourself. What rich man, old and sick, feeble and helpless, would not exchange all the gold in his vault for the blessings you have taken so lightly? Know then the first secret to happiness and success, that you possess, even now, every blessing necessary to achieve great glory. They are your treasure, your tools with which to build, starting today, the foundation for a new and better life. Therefore I say to you, count your blessings and know that you are already my greatest creation. This is the first law you must obey in order to perform the greatest miracle in the world, the return of your humanity from a living death. And be grateful for your lessons learned in poverty, for he who is not poor, who has little, only he desires much. And true security lies not in things one has, but in the things one can do without. Where are the handicaps that produced your failure? They existed only in your mind. Count your blessings. And the second law is like unto the first. Proclaim your rarity. You had condemned yourself to a potter's field, and there you lay, unable to forgive your own failure, destroying yourself with self-hate, incrimination, revulsion at your crimes against yourself and others? Are you not perplexed? Do you not wonder why I am able to forgive your failures, your transgressions, and your pitiful demeanor when you cannot forgive them of yourself? I address you now for 3 reasons. You need me. You are not one of a herd heading for destruction in a gray mass of mediocrity. And you are a great rarity. Consider a painting by Rembrandt or a bronze by Degas, or a violin by Stradivarius, or a play by Shakespeare. They have great value for 2 reasons. Their creators were masters, and they are few in number. Yet, there are more than one of each of these. On that reasoning, you are the most valuable treasure on the face of the earth. For you know who created you, and there is only one of you. Never in all the 70 billion humans who've walked this planet since the beginning of time has there been anyone exactly like you. And never until the end of time will there be another such as you. You have shown no knowledge or appreciation of your uniqueness. Yet you are the rarest thing in the world. From your Father at this moment of supreme love flowed countless seeds of love, more than 400 million in number. All of them, as they swam within your mother, gave up the ghost and died, all except one, you. For you alone persevered within the loving warmth of your mother's body, searching for your other half, the single self of your mother, so small that more than 2 million would be necessary to fill an acorn shell. Yet, despite impossible odds, in that vast ocean of darkness, you persevered, found that infinitesimal cell, joined with it, and began a new life, your life. You arrived bringing with you, as does every child, the message that I was not yet discouraged of man. 2 cells now united in a miracle. 2 cells, each containing 23 chromosomes, and within each chromosome hundreds of genes, which would govern every characteristic about you, from the color of your eyes to the charm of your manner to the size of your brain. With all the combinations at my command, beginning with that single sperm from your father's 400 million, through the hundreds of genes of each of the chromosomes from your mother and father, I have created 300,000 billion humans, each one different from the other. But who did I bring forth? You, one of a kind, the rarest of the rare, a priceless treasure, possessed of qualities in mind and speech and movement, in appearance and actions, as no other who ever lived, lives, or shall live. Why have you valued yourself in pennies when you are worth a king's ransom? Why did you listen to those who demeaned you? Or far worse, why did you believe them? Take counsel. No longer hide your rarity in the dark. Bring it forward. Show the world. Strive not to walk as your brother walks, nor talk as your leader talks, nor labor as do the mediocre. Never do as another. Never imitate. For how do you know that you may not imitate evil? And he that imitates evil always goes beyond the example set, while he who imitates what is good falls short. Imitate no one. Be yourself. Show your rarity to the world, and they will shower you with gold. Then, this is the second law. Proclaim your rarity. Now you have received 2 laws. Count your blessings. Proclaim your rarity. You have no handicaps. You are not mediocre. You nod. You force a smile. You admit your self-deception. And what of your next complaint? Opportunity never seeks thee? Take counsel, and it shall come to pass. For now I give you the law of success in every venture. Many centuries ago, this law was given to your forefathers from a mountaintop. Some heeded the law, and lo, their life was filled with the fruit of happiness, accomplishment, gold, and peace of mind. Most listened not, for they sought magic means, devious routes, or waited for the devil called luck to deliver them the riches of life. They waited in vain, just as you waited, and they wept, blaming their lack of fortune. The law is simple. Young or old, pauper or king, white or black, male or female, all can use the secret to their advantage. For all the rules and speeches and scriptures of success and how to attain it, only one method has always succeeded. Whomsoever compel ye to go with him a mile, go with him too. Then is the third law, the secret that produces riches and acclaim beyond your dreams. Go another mile. The only certain means of success is to render more and better service than is expected of you, no matter what your task may be. This is a habit followed by all successful people since the beginning of time. Therefore, I say if the surest way to doom yourself to mediocrity is to perform only the work for which you are paid. Think not that you are being cheated if you deliver more than the silver you receive. For there is a pendulum to all of life, and the sweat you deliver, if not rewarded today, will swing back tomorrow tenfold. The mediocre never goes another mile, for why should he cheat himself, he thinks. But you are not mediocre. To go another mile is a privilege you must appropriate by your own initiative. You cannot, you must not avoid it. Neglect it. Do only as little as others, and the responsibility for failure is yours alone. You can no more render service without receiving just compensation than you can withhold the rendering it without suffering the loss of reward. Cause and effect, means and ends, seed and fruit, these cannot be separated. The effect already blooms in the cause, and the end pre-exists in the means, and the fruit is always in the seed. Go another mile. Concern yourself not should you serve an ungrateful master. Serve all the more. And instead of him, let it be me who is in your debt. For then you will know that every minute, every stroke of extra service will be repaid. And worry not should your reward not come soon. For the longer payment is withheld, the better for you. And compound interest on compound interest is this law's greatest benefit. You cannot command success, you can only deserve it. And now you know the great secret necessary to merit its rare reward. Go another mile. Where in this field whence you cried was no opportunity. Look around thee. See only where yesterday you wallowed in the refuse of self-pity and now walk on a tall carpet of gold. Nothing has changed except you, but you are everything. You are my greatest miracle. You are the greatest miracle in the world. And now the laws of happiness and success are three. Count your blessings. Proclaim your rarity. Go another mile. Be patient with your progress. To count your blessings with gratitude. To proclaim your rarity with pride. To go an extra mile and then another. These acts are not accomplished in the blinking of an eye. Yet that which you acquire with most difficulty you retain the longest. And those who have earned a fortune are more careful of it than those by whom it was inherited. And fear not as you enter your new life. Every noble acquisition is attended with its risks. He who fears to encounter the one must not expect to obtain the other. Now you know you are a miracle. And fear heals in a miracle. Be proud. You are not the momentary whim of a careless creator experimenting in the laboratory of life. You are not a slave of forces that you cannot comprehend. You are a free manifestation of no force but mine, of no love but mine. You were made with a purpose. Feel my hand. Hear my words. You need me. I need you. We have a world to be rebuilt. And if it requires a miracle, what is that to us? We are both miracles, and now we have each other. Never have I lost faith in you since the day when I first spun you from a giant wave and tossed you helplessly on the sands. As you measure time, that was more than 500 million years ago. There were many models, many shapes, many sizes before I reached perfection in you, and more than 30,000 years ago. I have made no further effort to improve on you in all these years. For how could one improve on a miracle? You were a marvel to behold, and I was pleased, and I gave you this world and dominion over it. Then, to enable you to reach your full potential, I placed my hand on you once more and endowed you with powers unknown to any other creature in the universe, even to this day. I gave you the power to think. I gave you the power to be loved. I gave you the power to will. I gave you the power to laugh. I gave you the power to imagine. I gave you the power to create. I gave you the power to plan and the power to speak. I gave you the power to be the active presence of love and to bring healing to the world. My pride in you knew no bounds. You were my ultimate creation, my greatest miracle, a complete living being, one who can adjust to any climate, any hardship, any challenge, one who can manage his own or her own destiny without any interference from me, one who can translate a sensation or perception, not by instinct, but by thought and deliberation, into whatever action is best for themselves and all of humanity. Thus, we have come to a fourth law of success and happiness. For I gave you one more power, one power so great that not even my angels possess it. I gave you the power of choice. With this gift, I placed you even above my angels, for angels are not free to choose. I gave you complete control over your destiny. I told you to determine for yourself your own nature in accordance with your own free will. Neither heavenly nor earthly in nature, you were free to fashion yourself in whatever form you preferred. You had the power to choose to degenerate into the lowest forms of life, but you also had the power, out of your soul's judgment, to be reborn into the higher forms, which are the divine. I have always left that great power in you, the power to choose. What have you done with that tremendous force? Look at yourself. Think of the choices you've made in your life and recall now those bitter moments when you would fall to your knees if only you had the opportunity to choose again. What is past is past. And now you know the fourth great law of happiness and success. Use wisely your power of choice. Choose to love rather than hate. Choose to laugh rather than cry. Choose to create rather than destroy. Choose to persevere rather than quit. Choose to praise rather than gossip. Choose to heal rather than wound. Choose to give rather than steal. Choose to act rather than procrastinate. Choose to grow rather than rot. Choose to pray rather than curse. Choose to live rather than die. Choose to forgive rather than condemn. Now you know that your misfortunes were not my will, for all power was vested in you. And the accumulation of deeds and thoughts which placed you on the refuse of humanity were your doing, not mine. My gifts of power were too large for your small nature. Now you have grown tall and wise, and the fruits of the land will be yours. You are more than a human being. You are a human becoming. You are capable of great wonders. Your potential is eternal. Who else among my creatures has mastered fire? Who else among my creatures has conquered gravity, has pierced the heavens, has conquered disease and pestilence and drought? Never demean yourself again. Forgive and heal that tendency in yourself. Let loose, forgive the tendency to settle for the crumbs in life. Accept your talents and express them from this day hence. Remember the child who says, when I'm a big boy, but what is that? For the big boy says, when I grow up. And when the grown-up says, when I am wed, but to be wed, what is that after all? The thought then changes to when I retire. And then when retirement comes, he looks back over it and somehow has missed it all and it is gone. Enjoy this day today and tomorrow and tomorrow. By doing so, you have performed the greatest miracle in the world. You have returned from a living death. You will feel self-pity no more, and each new day will be a challenge and a joy. You have been born again, just as before. You can choose failure and despair or success and happiness. The choice is yours. The choice is exclusively yours. I can only watch as before, in pride or sorrow. Remember the 4 laws of happiness and success. Count your blessings. Proclaim your rarity. Go another mile. Use wisely your power of choice. And one more to fulfill the other 4. Do all things from your human beingness with love, with the presence of love for self and others and for me. Wipe away your tears. Reach out, grasp my hand, and stand straight. Let me cut the grave cloths that bound you. This day, you have been notified. You are the greatest miracle in the world. Thank you, Og Mandino, for your book, The Greatest Miracle in the World, and this God Memorandum. You can go to Amazon and order Og's book. He's got an awesome series of books. And it just seemed very appropriate to share this with you, being Thanksgiving Day. Jeanie, do we have any callers or anything happening in the chat room to be aware of?
We have a few new people in the chat room that hadn't been with us before, and there were several guests earlier. And everybody's just saying Happy Thanksgiving, and they're grateful for the work. And nobody is on the switchboard yet. Of course, we're down to 2 minutes, so probably not enough time to take another caller. But we are thankful for everyone who has participated.
Well, then we'll just let you know that if you want to download our schedule, you can go to the website, www.whyagain.com, and there's a link for travel schedule. And we'll be in Pompano Beach in 2 weeks. Actually, we'll be starting out the first Friday of December. We'll be speaking to a near-death group, a near-death study group, and actually we're going to introduce the idea that the so-called near-death experience is not a near-death experience. It's actually a near-life experience. So that'll be in Tamarack, Florida. There's a flyer on the website. And then on that Saturday night, we'll be at a place called the Heart Painter Studio in Boca Raton. And we'll be it's happening to me again. And then we'll be at Unity of Pompano for a full week doing 6 free workshops. And on the Saturday, second Saturday, I guess it is, of December, we'll be doing Mind Shifters and Still Point Breathing. Then we'll be off for 3 weeks, going to be part of the delivery of our first grandchild, Adeline Nora, and hold Krista in the light. We'll be back in Fort Lauderdale the first week in December, doing a full week of workshops, and then traveling Florida and tap into the website. If you haven't availed yourself of the forgiveness tool, please go to the website, whyagain.com. On the right-hand side, there's a link that says Download Worksheets. The first 5 pieces, the first 5 links there will give you the whole story on forgiveness. And with that, I promise you, you will create the best year yet of your eternal life. Bring a stranger to the show tomorrow. It's been a delight to be with you. Have a wondrous holy day with all of your family, and we hold the space. Blessings. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Mind Shifters Radio with the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce, and his wife, Jeanie, who present that internal Aramaic process of forgiveness. Michael and Jeanie are here every Monday through Friday on Earth Angels Radio. For more on Michael and Jeanie, please visit www.whyagain.com. whyagain.com. That's www.whyagain.com.